Today's show is brought to you by HelloFresh. Please visit HelloFresh.com and use the promo code CAGCast30 to save $30 off your first week of deliveries when you subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGCast episode number 944. Nope, 494. 944 would be very impressive.
That's a ways away.
I know. We're going to be really old when that happens.
It'll be a month away from my 50th birthday.
Wait, I even wrote down an intro for you, Wombat. Should I say it, or I already blew it?
Yes, go say it. Go ahead.
As always, here's a man who had no intention of streaming Persona 5 until he was told he couldn't. Wombat.
Yeah, next time skip it.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Fart joke.
And it sounded too much like you were reading it. It's better when you do it off the top of your head.
But then I usually fuck it up. I mean, off the top, I wrote that like 3 seconds ago. It was basically just so I don't thumper through it. Yes. I don't know. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I've pretty much fucked it up already, but we can't start over now. We're on top of our game.
That's okay.
How's everything going, Wombat?
Things are things. I have no major complaints.
Shipwreck, do you have any complaints?
About Wombat?
Sure.
Probably.
Those are the best.
Okay, so...
Oh, God. You know what's sad is I know where you're going with this. Okay. Go ahead.
I know, too, yeah.
So Monday afternoon, Wombat excitedly texts me, wondering if I was a founding member of EA Access. And I was like, yeah, I was. And he's like, oh, well, they've been sending out hard drives to the founding members. So you should check when you get home. I get home, there's no hard drive. Nothing. Next day, no hard drive. Now this is the third day, and still no hard drive.
And
I'm going to guess this isn't my fault. I don't work for EA. I just
it's your fault because you brought it up in the first place.
Well, if anyone gets these things in the mail, it's always you.
That's not necessarily true.
That is always true.
Well, because
Cheapy has won stuff before. You've won stuff before, Wombat.
Yeah, not cool stuff like that, though.
Well, I did not get this either. So
there you go.
A situation where I'd been completely oblivious for it. You alerted me to the situation, and now it's a disappointment.
And now you don't even need that. Don't you have enough hard drives?
I was going to say, you don't even need a hard drive. What would you do with
I would plug it into my PS4. I haven't done the external hard drive on my PS4 yet.
I think that's illegal. If you get a free hard drive for EA Access for Xbox, yeah.
I would have switched one of the ones I had on Xbox already.
Right, there you go. Otherwise, they come to your house and beat you. Oh, so it sounds like everyone's having a really exciting time.
Yep, congrats all you EA Access users that got a hard drive.
Yeah, I had a migraine yesterday for the first time in about 2 years.
Stress.
It was. Oh, no, you don't need to tell me why I had the migraine.
I told you last week why you had the back pain.
Yeah, it's like it moved from my back to my head, and that not just my head, but like right behind my eyeball.
Right, that's because I exposed the fact, the reason that your back was hurting, so that it moves somewhere else. Once you're onto it, it changes locations. I'm not even joking.
Yes. So I sat in the dark for 2 hours.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Wow. Where?
In my living room.
Didn't the rest of the family think it was weird?
Well, it was after everyone went to bed.
Oh.
I tried to watch the last 2 episodes of Arrow, which sort of made me angrier. I don't know.
That sounds like a bigger headache.
Yeah. Like, why would I? That show is so bad. It's just bad.
Well, we're not up to that part of the show yet.
No, sorry. Anyway, go on.
It's worse than Iron Fist, isn't it?
Oh, it is worse than than Iron Fist. But I feel like there's still redemption in that show. That's the problem. I keep watching it
No,
because
there
I
isn't.
keep saying to myself, they're going to fix it.
Yeah, I stopped years ago, and I realized they weren't going to fix it.
I know,
But-
you're right.
The next time you get a headache or some medical problem, I have some information for you that could help you, and maybe our listeners too. Mrs. Chibi was feeling pretty sick this weekend. She had like a stomach problem. She thought she had like a stomach virus or something, and she was very weak. She couldn't eat. And
Alien? Was it an alien?
It was not an alien, as far as I know. And by Sunday, she's like, maybe I should go to the doctor, but like I'm in a lot of pain, and like just moving around hurts. Like I think I'd have a really bad time if you took me to a clinic and I had, we had to get in the car and drive there and then, wait there. So I was like, I thought I had read that there was some app that you could use to talk to a doctor. And I jokingly said to her, like, oh, there's probably an app for that. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, I found one that had like, really good reviews on iTunes. God, I forgot what it was called. Oh man, I got to look that up. But we used it, and it's really cool. Like you sign up for the service. They charge you $59 for a doctor's visit, and insurance, depending on the insurance you have, it might cover some or all of that. And, basically you fill out this thing and you wait for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden you have like a video conference on your phone with a real doctor. And they give you, you tell what you explain what's going on, and they stay with you on the conference until you feel like you've got, all your questions answered. And
now, I have never used this app, but I'm going to assume that when the doctor first appears, he goes, "Hi, everybody."
In fact,
Take off all your clothes.
no, it was a female doctor, and
Okay.
I didn't actually I didn't watch the video.
He didn't ask for pictures of her vagina and butthole.
No. But Mrs. Cheapy said that the doctor was incredibly good looking, that she could have been a model. So it wasn't Dr. Nick Riviera. But anyway,
Hey, everybody.
that's like we're living in the future now. We have doctors on our phones that can treat us, and they can prescribe medicine. They can,
Well, Shipwreck has one in his house, like all the time.
an animal doctor.
Kind of. I'm not going to her for like my medical.
What is this?
You have too few legs. We got to get you to the hospital immediately. No, now I feel bad that I don't know the name iTunes Doctor app, because it was really good and I want to recommend it. It wasn't Amwell. It's called Amwell. One word. AMWELL. Yeah.
Sounds so shady.
But
I'm
it
sure
wasn't-
it's fine.
It's not.
but
I mean,
sounds
it
so
didn't.
shady.
It wasn't. It's the concept sounds shady, but once you look at it,
That's what I mean. The concept
Yeah.
sounds super shady.
but I checked it out to make sure. it
You
was
don't
legit.
need that liver. Just put it in the mailbox.
Did you go to Hollywood Upstairs Medical School too? No, it was really impressive, and it made Mrs. Cheapy feel a lot better because she knew what was going on, and we didn't have to go anywhere, and it saved the day. So yeah, go smartphones. Woohoo! How about some show feedback?
Sure.
Were
That's
you
me.
consulting with a doctor?
I was. I'm like, oh, I forgot what we were up to. Sorry. I spaced. Richard Kane has to say, a quick note on the turkey burger that Wombat described. While I do thoroughly approve of the recipe that he was describing, a burger patty on slices of bread instead of a bun is usually referred to as a patty melt. This is even more true when cheese is involved. Bonus points if the sandwich in question is skillet fried, panini pressed, or otherwise toasted before consumption. I'm sorry to have offended you, Richard.
I don't think it's actually a patty melt. It's definitely not a patty melt if there's no cheese. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, because there's no melt.
I happen to know quite a bit about patty melt, so I'm glad that you included this on the outline. Patty melt is typically...
Isn't it usually Isn't it sourdough bread usually?
Rye bread, I believe. In
Is
New
it rye
York,
bread?
in New York, it is usually. It's cheddar cheese, a burger, fried onions, and rye bread, and they cook the burger, and then after the burger's done, I think they put the whole thing together as a sandwich, and then they grill the sandwich. They put the whole sandwich on the grill, and that makes the bread toasty, and it makes it all sort of stick together.
That is not what I did.
No. So, Richard, I appreciate the feedback, but I don't think that's what Wombat was doing. And you can go to that place and get that fake. Remember we were talking about like those fake burgers from Momofuku?
Oh yeah, the ones that taste and look like beef but are actually made out of people.
No, plants. You're thinking of Soylent Green, I think. They do a patty melt there, and it's, just like I said. Now I'm hungry. Thanks a lot.
Excellent.
What else?
This is all messed up. Curufine has to say, in 10 years of listening to this podcast, I don't think I've ever been more surprised than when Chibi talked about watching Beauty and the Beast over and over again in college.
Why is that so surprising? It was a very popular movie.
Popular and a college student having it in their dorm room, a college male. It's weird.
What year did that movie come out? It was like
92?
Hold on. Beauty and the Beast animated.
No, it was not 95.
No, before
I
that?
was in
92.
middle school.
91. So yeah, I was.
That would have been middle school era for me.
Right. So I was in college.
You were in college.
Well, I was graduating high school, actually.
I mean, we get it. You had to masturbate to something, but Beauty and the Beast is weird.
I explained it last week. What? Didn't my explanation
Sexy
make
Feather
sense?
Duster. You explained it just fine.
Yes. And it happens to, if you're smoking weed, it was very weed friendly, obviously. Great songs.
I guess.
It was a huge fucking hit also. I mean, it made like $500 million back then, which is, fucking huge. So I don't think it was that surprising. All those animated movies were super popular when I was in college.
I think they were popular with your group of friends or something.
I think when I was in college,
I have no issues with you watching them. I just don't think it was like a common practice for college guys to watch Beauty and the Beast.
My fraternity.
Star Wars was the big thing to watch on VHS when I was in college. Because those VHSs that was when that 3 VHS box set came out. I think that was like 94.
Yeah.
And I started in 95. And like that was the thing. That's what everyone. Oh, let's go watch Empire Strikes Back.
I mean, Aladdin was super popular too. I remember watching that almost as much, and I knew all the words to the songs, and my friends did too. And we were pure. We were very manly. I feel
just pure testosterone.
We watched Seven. I remember watching Seven on VHS in college.
That's a very different movie.
It's very different than Beauty and the Beast.
We pretty much watched The Matrix over and over again.
I can understand
when
that.
I was in college.
Yeah.
See,
got my big, like, I don't know, like 3 foot by 2 foot DVD player. Got that hooked up. Got my 5 free DVDs by mail away.
Yep.
Columbia House.
Got on that Columbia House deal as well. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I understand why they remade Beauty and the Beast and turned it into a live action movie, because it was a huge hit, like ridiculous hit. It makes a lot of sense. And this sort of can move us right into Watch As Bitches. I'm sort of less sure why they did that with Ghost in the Shell, which came up, I think that came out, when did that come out? That was in the 90s too, right? That was 95 maybe.
95, 97, somewhere.
So
95, I think.
So that's a long time ago, and I don't think it set the world on fire. I don't think it set the box office on fire then.
I don't think that movie was released to theaters. Wide release.
Well,
that wasn't a wide release film.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Like, I understand why you would invest a lot of money to make a Beauty and the Beast sequel. That seems like a no-brainer. I mean, not sequel, remake. Seems like a no-brainer. You're going to make that money back. But to spend over $100 million making Ghost in the Shell, a movie that hasn't been relevant in a really long time, and that really only a very small group of people care about anymore.
Well, I think some of it, though, was marketed to people who didn't know what it was to begin with. So they just
I think
thought
that
it
was
would be
kind of the point of making.
Yeah, they just thought it would be like a Matrix type movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they waited too long to make it, is what I think the problem was.
Oh, yeah. Who's even thinking about it now?
I mean, this should have been coming out with Aeon Flux time frame.
Right. That would have been a better time.
That box office masterpiece. Charlize Theron's second Oscar, lest we forget.
With the killer grass. That's all I remember about that. Is you don't want to step on that grass; it will kill you.
Yeah, I don't really remember that movie. Anyway, that's the real controversy behind Ghost in the Shell, not like the whitewashing stuff. I mean, just like why even make it? Anywho, how about some watch this bitches?
Because the season is over now.
Mhm.
Although I haven't watched the season finale, I have to say Legends of Tomorrow season 2 much better than Legends of Tomorrow season 1. Not because it's a good show, but because it knows it's not a good show, which makes it enjoyable to watch. If that makes any sense.
Not really.
Like,
Is it better than Iron Fist?
It is better than Iron Fist. It's on its own joke, and the plot lines move a little faster. That, and it had the bad guys of this season actually called themselves the Legion of Doom. Like it, again, it's very self-aware.
Is Black Manta?
Why wouldn't they call themselves that?
I don't know.
That's a thing.
Yeah. It's got, all the bad guys that have been on these Arrowverse shows became a team.
Black Manta?
No.
Oh.
That have already been on the shows.
I think DC Comics in general is just better when they're self-aware.
Yeah.
When they actually make the stuff that people like about DC Comics.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. It was, if you want to see someone get shot with a freeze ray and then get broken into pieces, have I got the show for you? Right. If you want to see the Atom fight in World War I, because why not? I've got a show for you.
I've been watching a lot of those Lego DC movies. Because my
those are also
watch them.
Goofy.
They're so much better than the actual movies they've been putting out. They have jokes in them. The characters are doing things that you recognize. Like they stay true to the characters.
Right. They actually care about the fans.
Batman admits that he has friends. Isn't that the plot line in one of them? Not just the real movie.
Not the
I don't know. I mean, that's definitely the plot of the theatrical Lego Batman movie.
No, there's another one where they also use
they're DC Heroes Unite. I think it's that one.
Yeah, right? That's the one that ends with like a birthday party or something?
Maybe. I've kind of gotten inundated with a lot of this Lego stuff because I just read a Lego Star Wars book last night that ended in a festival.
Oh, so Return of the Jedi. Yub.
Yep.
All right. What else we got here for Watch This Business?
Since we talked about Voodoo last week, I have been going back through and watching a lot of movies that I just never got around to watching, especially since I'm up like at 4 a.m. feeding baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally said, I'm going to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2. I've been putting this off long enough. I know I do not need to watch this movie, but since that is my favorite superhero, I have to watch this movie.
Oh, I didn't realize that you'd never seen that.
No. That movie has entirely too much going on.
It does.
There's like over a half hour of Peter Parker's parents footage that amounts to nothing. There's like no reason for that to be in the film. They like, I can spoil this a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think that movie's been out long enough.
Yeah, like the entire first 20 minutes, just about that much, is them on this plane, like fighting a bad guy, and they're going down, and they're like, there's this prolonged fight, and like in the middle of the fight, they're trying to send out this file on the computer, and they keep fighting, and they send out the file a little bit more. They send out the file a little bit more, and then like right as like they're going down, they finally get the file all the way sent. And so later in the movie, Peter Parker finds this file in this ridiculous manner. And it's just his dad like saying, I wasn't a bad guy. Like there's nothing to prove that he wasn't a bad guy. It's just him saying he wasn't a bad guy. Like there was literally like no data other than it's just a video of Richard Parker saying, I'm not a bad guy.
He should have just wrote it because it would have taken a lot less time to upload.
Right.
It's a pretty bad movie. It is.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly bad.
It's still better than the DC ones. it really is because at least most of the motivations make sense and the fight scenes are the characters doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Electro's motivation was a little bit off, but
I can't tell if I just don't like Dale DeHaan or Dane DeHaan. What's his name? Whatever it is, the Green Goblin.
Jamie Foxx? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the kid who plays the Green Goblin.
Oh,
I
he's not good.
I can't tell if I don't like him or maybe he's just so good that he's acting in a way that I physically don't like him.
I mean, the whole thing was they were trying to set this up to set up the Sinister Six. If they were not trying to do that, there was really not any reason for the Green Goblin to be in this movie either.
Oh no, that's what they were trying to do.
Right. But I mean, the movie has so many different angles that we're propping it up to like make something else. And it literally ends at the beginning of a fight scene where they've introduced the third villain of the movie in the last half hour.
It ends and you're like, all right, this movie's about to get good. And then credits.
Is this the one where the construction workers all turn their cranes
Nope,
around?
that's the first one.
Oh, that was fucking
That's Amazing
horrible.
Spider-Man 1.
Oh god, that was really bad.
The biggest crime for these Spider-Man movies, the what's his name, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, is I think I saw maybe the first one twice, and I don't think I've ever watched the second one more than the first time I saw it, which was in the theaters. There's no reason for me to want to watch it again.
He's
And
not a
that's kinda
very
sad.
charming. I mean, he's not bad as Peter Parker.
No, he's not bad.
He's not a bad Peter Parker. He's not a great Spider-Man. Like, he's not like quipping and stuff while he's fighting.
Right.
There's something off about his Spider-Man version.
Tom Holland's 5 minutes in Civil War is better than 4 hours
Right,
of
that's
him.
true.
And
That is true. All right. How about
And announcement today that the de facto best superhero show got announced. Squirrel Girl is getting her TV show.
New Warriors? Yeah, we're going to be on it, right?
Right. That sounds fantastic to me.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm excited for that because it's not going to be dark. It's going to be fun.
I don't know, unless it has Night Thrasher on it.
They've said it's going to be a comedic take.
I know. I'm sure.
So.
I actually think it would work if they had Night Thrasher on it and he was trying to be serious in a comedic show. Could actually be very funny, but whatever. I don't write for that show. No one asked me.
Wombat, did you continue to watch Legion?
I have the rest of the season to watch. It's sitting there. I have 4 episodes to go.
Okay. It was pretty great, I thought.
I'll watch it. It's there. My wife wants to watch it with me, and it's a whole thing.
It's really good.
I
The ending
believe
is
you,
good.
and I will watch it. That is not a comedic take on comedy.
I'll give you one tip. There's at the last episode, in the season finale, there's a mid-credits scene that you want to watch.
Yes, you told us all last week.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Okay. How about some new releases?
Sure. I've been playing a little bit of one. Very little bit of one.
Mhm.
Persona?
Yep. Persona 5.
Are you
Been
gonna
playing on-
Are you gonna start streaming that so we could all see?
So you can go to jail.
Well, yeah. So Atlas can come to my house and track me down.
Mm.
Yeah, that's odd that Atlas pretty much just embargoed like to a certain date in a certain point in the game, right? That's what happened.
To the general audience.
To the general public.
To the public.
Which is not how things work.
No.
You don't embargo the general public. There's no incentive there for the general public to play by your rules.
Well, they said that they were going to put strikes on their YouTube account if you did that. You have been warned in all caps.
I'm sure that will lead to other YouTube accounts being created that will stream it.
It seems like a very weird strategy that some old Japanese guy came up with.
It's really weird for like Atlas as well. And I realize they're Sega/Atlas now, but just like Persona is such a like fan driven series. I mean, it's not a necessarily mainstream series. It's getting there. Sales
It's like Ghost in the Shell, circa 1995. Is that what you're?
Well, I mean, kind of. I mean, Persona's been around for 20 years now, but it's like slowly.
Just a reference. I was serious.
Yeah, I know. But it's like slowly been building its fan base because they're really good games.
It's very silly because nobody nobody's gonna not buy the game because they saw somebody stream it, like they stream too much of the game, right? They're not gonna say, "Oh, the game was spoiled for me, so I'm just gonna not play it.
Who watches a stream of a game not knowing what they're
not wanting it to be
into?
spoiled?
Right, that's the whole point of watching the stream, is to see like if the game is going to be interesting, and maybe you don't want to play it, but you watch a little and say, oh, maybe this game is for me. It just seems like a very out of touch strategy, but they even blamed it on the Japanese part of the company.
Yeah,
in the press release,
they're masters in Japan.
Our Japanese masters are cracking the whip. So weird. But how's the game?
I've only played like a half hour of it so far, which is basically nothing in these type of RPGs. I will say that the style, like the artistic style, is great. The voice acting the English voice acting has been good so far. It's the combat. I've done like a couple little combat things, but it's just like tutorial stuff so far. So it's turn-based combat, and I've basically done the battles where it's just like, okay, hit attack 3 times and you defeat this enemy. But I'm working on like 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and it was like, oh, this is a section where I can set down my controller and wake back up in a few minutes.
sounds enthralling.
Yeah,
it takes a while to heat up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it takes a few hours, and it's gotten great reviews, and I'm sure it's fantastic. You can tell that it is a finished product right away. Like, this is a polished product that is ready for market. Everything is snappy and like interesting to look at.
Sounds good.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Right, not a game for you, Wombat. You don't like these finished product games.
No.
Speaking of which, Drawn to Death came out, apparently. I've had this game on my PS4 for, it seems like, over 2 years.
Really?
I thought this game had been released.
I downloaded it this week because it's free on PS Plus.
Why did you have it early?
I had like an early access code that they had sent me a long time ago. And I played a little bit of it. It seemed okay when I played it. I know I played it at E3.
It looks interesting, but I haven't played it.
Is it just a first-person shooter with like in a hand-drawn style?
It's not first person, is it?
I don't know.
Third person.
It's third person. Yeah, it's third person, and it's the one where it's supposed to look like something that a high schooler had drawn on their composition book.
Okay.
Really bloody. I don't know. It seems like it's like oozing with attitude that doesn't really do much for me at this point.
Is it like that Wii game? Was that a Wii game? Like what was that called? It was like black and white, but with like a lot of blood.
Oh,
I can't remember.
I would say
I remember that game. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
And someone is listening now, and they'll tweet it to us. The name of the game, I think.
It's I can almost, it's Mad World.
Yeah.
Mad World?
Is that
No.
Mad
Something
World.
like that.
Yeah,
now
he's right. He's right.
Is
he's
he?
right. Ship is right.
I can read the spine of it from where
Platinum
I'm sitting
Games
on a shelf. Yeah.
Now this game,
it's a similar like thematic type thing, I would guess.
I see. This is a David Jaffe joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Creator of Calling All Cars.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is what he's been up to. All right. Well, I downloaded it too. I just haven't had a chance to check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Now that I have the room on my hard drive to download these games, I'm downloading all the games.
Yeah, this game was pitched and has been in development since 2013. I was really shocked that this was not out because I definitely had this on my PS4 for a long time.
All right. Maybe I'll check it out before the next show. What else?
Lego City Undercover continues the parade of Wii U games to Nintendo Switch. That also came out or is coming out for Xbox One and PS4 as well. But that's a really good Lego game. It might be the best Lego game. It's hard to say because it's hard to strip out the licensed properties from the other ones because those definitely add something. But as far as like a big open world Lego adventure with good humor and like it feels like a good storyline that you're playing the entire time. It's like very cohesive as you go through. It's not just like, okay, we're gonna do the Hulk level and do the Death Star level in the Star Wars game. Like this one is like a continuous storyline throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. That $60 price tag for the Nintendo Switch for a game that's a player's choice or whatever they call them on Wii U is that's ridiculous. There's no reason this needs to be a $60 game.
Yeah, I'll wait. I think Ty would like it. I'd probably check it out.
No, he would love it.
Yeah.
It's got co-op as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great game. It's got like all kinds of secret stuff to go find and everything. So I played it a lot when it came out on Wii U because that was one of the only third party really big releases
and exclusives at the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else? Thimbleweed Park? That's the LucasArts style point and click game by Ron Gilbert.
Yep.
Kind of a Maniac Mansion follow-up.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know too much about that. Anything else?
Subaru City for 3DS. I don't know what that is.
No, Subara City.
I know.
Subaru City sounds interesting for you.
Shipwreck would buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Everywhere Shipwreck goes is Subaru City.
Right. All right. So we're done with the new releases?
I think so.
All right. Well, now it's time to talk about HelloFresh, which I can talk about at great length because
Me too.
I'm cooking these meals 3 times a week now.
Me too.
Are you doing the classic box, the veggie box, or the family box?
I do the classic box.
Right. The classic box. The difference between the classic box and the family box is that you'll get the option of fish dishes, I think, and like stuff that maybe has more spice in it. But you can adjust the spice any way you like. Yeah. So HelloFresh is a meal delivery service. You choose your meals from this app, and then they show up on whatever day you tell them to deliver it, and it all shows up in one box that's got a big thing of ice in it, so everything's nice and fresh. And they give you the recipes, and they change up the recipes. Like I've been doing this for months now, and you never get the same recipe twice. They mix it up all the time,
and you get to choose. Like there's a certain number. Like if you're getting 3, you get to pick from, I don't know, is it 5 or 7 different?
Yeah, 5. I think.
Yeah, 5 different recipes, so you can kind of weed out the stuff that you may not like.
Mm-hmm. I made stir-fried beef last night. Ty had a friend sleeping over he was in from out of town, so we had a very rare weekday sleepover, and I made the stir-fried beef, and his friend had like three servings of it. He really liked it. I'm super hot on HelloFresh. I tell everybody about it because I don't know, I feel like really proud when I cook these meals and people tell me how good it is, and I don't know, I feel like I accomplished something.
My daughter eats most of them too.
Ty eats everything. He's never not eaten it. Even when we started with the family box because, it's a family and I thought it'd be more kid friendly, but I wanted to get fish. And so I said, you know what, let's just switch over to the classic box and give that a try. And we did. And now we're just sticking with that. You get like a really nice variety of stuff. So they send you all the ingredients in the right quantity. So there's nothing wasted when you're done. They have dietitians on staff who are coming up with the recipes. It's great. And it costs less than $10 a meal. So I really recommend HelloFresh. I've sent out so many freebies. They send me a lot of freebies because, I do 3 meals a week and I've been doing it for a while now. So I get a lot of freebies from them, and I've sent them out to CAGs on Twitter, and people seem to really be enjoying it. I'm all out of freebies, so you got to visit HelloFresh.com and use the promo code CAGCast30, and you'll get $30 off your first week of deliveries when you subscribe. That's coupon code CAGCast30 at HelloFresh.com. I'm a big fan. I love it. Anything else to add, Ship?
No, it's a great service. Not just because they're one of our sponsors. It's truly a great service.
Yeah, we're paying for the meals. They're not like sending us
Right.
free food or anything like that.
Right.
They're paying. I've spent a lot more money on HelloFresh than they've sent us, for sure. I think it's really great, and and the food's healthy too. You're eating healthy. It's great. Okay, now it's time for something else that's great: multi-platforming and Wombat's Overwatch Onslaught. And news and stuff. There is some Overwatch big reveal happening, I think, next week that we don't really know what's happening. They did some little teaser, and people think it's going to be a new game mode and not a new character, but I don't know. The hype is real.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hype, EA announced that they're going to be patching Mass Effect. And
they are.
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Is that the day?
Or today for people listening.
Yeah, I mean, they basically said that they're going to fix a lot of the big complaints that people had, including the animation issues and the lip sync issues. Even your complaint, Wombat, about the inventory not being sufficient, that's on there.
I know. I'm very, very pleased by that. I had a whole conversation with my wife about the inventory on Mass Effect, and she listened to me.
Did she
still
really?
don't know why.
She was enthralled.
I was like, I don't know why you're listening to me talk about this. And then when I sent it out and she saw it, she goes, "Your dream came true." That was the text I got.
Nice.
So there you go. She listened to me.
It's a very long list of changes. So
I think I'm going to keep mine sealed for a while.
I don't see the patch where they say they're going to make Ryder interesting. I don't see where that patch is.
I don't know. You got to feel pretty bad. Like do you feel bad, Wombat, that you played? How many hours are you into this before the patch?
Before the patch, probably in the 30s.
I mean, how does that make you feel as somebody who bought the game?
I would have
liked.
Really, the only thing that really bothers me is I probably have some weapons that I got rid of that I probably would have liked to have held on to just to have in my inventory cache because they were cool looking.
Right.
But
did you read Ben Kuchera's article today about basically saying that you just bought an early access game if you bought Mass Effect already?
And I did. And yes. Do I feel like the Mass Effect EA/BioWare may want to consider something for those people that bought the game on day one? I think it would be a nice gesture.
Oh yeah, they haven't announced anything like that?
No.
Nothing?
I feel like
in-game t-shirt or anything?
You think something. I feel like they kind of, not to say that they owe me one, but they owe me one.
They could throw you a loot pack or something for multiplayer.
That's what I
right?
mean. Yeah. Like maybe a couple of premium loot packs, whatever the biggest one is.
I'm just wondering, do you think it was worth it for EA to do this? Like to knowingly put out this game because they obviously needed to hit a deadline with this to get whatever earnings they needed for a quarter.
Mm-hmm. For the quarter, yeah. It was definitely a fiscal, because it was a fiscal end. And March is a fiscal end.
You've got a ton of bad will now to the Mass Effect franchise.
Totally.
I guess the question isn't how much is when they make the next one, how much time will have passed? And do people forget?
I don't think people don't forget.
Or if they show the next, basically what they would need, say they, so this game is a bust. Let's call it. Let's say Mass Effect Andromeda is dead. We do not need a Mass Effect Andromeda 2.
Oh, I'm sure commercially it is a bust.
We don't need to see the Ryder family ever again or any of these characters. Let's call a spade a spade. We'll just say
okay.
It, right? They could not do this again. So let's say it's E3 2018 or 2019. It's the Xbox or Sony press conference. It's going to be one of the big two. The lights go down and you hear the voice. And what's it, Mark Meir? Is that the guy's name?
Oh.
And it turns around and it's Shepard. It's Commander Shepard, and
back.
he says something, like, "Hey, it's great to be back on the,
No. He's going to say, "I'm back, bitches."
See, exactly. Something, and they retcon whatever happened in Mass Effect 3, the same way they did between Mass Effect 2
Can
and Mass
Morden
Effect
come
3.
back too?
Everybody's back. They bring back all your favorite characters with their voices. And
Proper animation.
Yeah, and they're like, and they call it Mass Effect 4 because that's what they would have to do. And don't tell me
Mass
Shipwreck,
Effect 0.
No, Mass Effect. Yeah, you got to go prequel, I think.
No, that's the whole thing. You'd have to set it in a way to let the people that have invested their hearts into this franchise to know that it's going to continue.
We got you.
And it's going to continue with Commander Shepard and your Spectres and all the, and all of that nonsense and the Citadel and
go back and remake that Mass Effect 3 ending again.
Yeah, exactly. Like
what? I mean, that was such a hard stop to the series.
That's what I mean. That was the mistake they made. Not that the ending was bad per se, but that they hard stopped.
That ending was bad.
Yeah, that they hard stopped the ending. That they made an ending that that it seems you can't get back. Yeah, there's got to be a way. I mean, how cool would it be even if they had Martin Sheen come back? Turns out that it was a dream the whole time.
Perfect.
Yeah, whatever dumb excuse they have to come up with. To reset that ending to make it Mass Effect 4. You can even call it like Mass Effect 4 the beginning or something like that to let everyone know Mass Effect Andromeda. Like we're gonna pretend that never happened.
Well,
and here's Mass Effect all over again.
I think Shipwreck was when we were talking about this on our little chat. Shipwreck was saying that he didn't know that is it really worth EA to go through and put out like a pretty significant update to the game. Is it, that costs money. Is it even worth it to do it at this point? Has the ship sailed already? Has the spaceship sailed? I think they're doing it for the next game, right? So people don't say like, oh, they left us high and dry. I remember now when Mass Effect Andromeda 2 comes out.
Right. Well, and also they want to sell those loot boxes, like you said, for the multiplayer.
Yeah. You got to sort of stop people from returning the game to GameStop or, selling the game back to GameStop, I guess is what you're trying to do. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about not buying the game so far. I feel like I've made the right decision.
It also didn't help that it was surrounded by games that were getting 9s.
Right.
Yeah. The fact that it was surrounded by a stellar Legend of Zelda game from everything I've seen. I haven't played it, but I'm sure it's amazing.
And Horizon.
And Nier and Neo and Persona.
Yeah, it's not a good time to be the game that's not great when it should have been the game that stood above all the other ones.
Oh, wow.
And I'm telling you, you wait. E3, it's either going to be E3 2018 or E3 2019.
Shepard's back.
Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite press conference at E3.
They got to bring him back. I can't argue with you there. Like
that's the only way.
If you were a female Shepard, that's fine as well.
Yeah,
they were both. They were both very charismatic.
Yep. That was what you wanted to be Commander Shepard. There was something about that Commander Shepard. He was a spy and a soldier.
He had that little shimmy dance
and a policeman, and he did his awkward dancing. Like there was nothing about that character that wasn't like. It's like, well, what do people think? What's cool? What's a cool hero archetype in movies? Like, we like explorers, like Indiana Jones. Yep, he'll be that. What about like magic, like a Jedi type thing? Yep, he's got that. What about like a soldier, like a Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger type? Yep, he'll be that too.
Well, he had leadership qualities. I think that's what made him work. It was like he was a believable character that you would believe the other characters would interact with him and
both male and female. They pulled it. They did something.
Right, I'm just saying him, just so I don't have to say both of them.
I understand that, but they did something. But when you think about that, it sounds nearly impossible. It sounds like it would never work because it sounds like a terrible idea. We're going to take every archetype that appeals to people. We're gonna make a male version and a female version, and they're both gonna work perfectly. That sounds impossible. And then to take that and to just say, you know what, we're gonna hard stop the best idea maybe anyone's had in video games in about 10 years. We're just gonna hard stop that, and we're gonna start over again with this guy, who just seems kind of vanilla, who doesn't have those qualities. Very strange. And I say this looking at a Commander Shepard sitting on my desk, staring at me.
Longingly, wondering why he's not in my game. Oh, boy. All right, what else we got here? Shippy's still playing ukulele, right?
I am, and the embargo is up on that now, so...
Yeah, so I
can talk more about it.
I felt like you gave it a pretty positive preview last week.
Yeah, I did, and I stick by that. I think... I know on Metacritic it has somewhere high 60s, somewhere around that was the last time I checked. And I think if you go into it wanting to play a 90s, like straight out of the 90s style platformer, that you're going to get that. It's not as good as a Banjo-Kazooie game. I don't think it had the budget or the time to get to that point. But it scratches the itch. And I know like Emmeline just like loves to watch this game. So it's doing something right. And I think a lot of the reviewers maybe just might not have been the game for them, period, to begin with.
All right.
I think it does, like now that I'm further in the game, I think I'm on the last level, or the last world, I guess. It's a hub with lots of worlds off of it. And I will say that the first couple of levels are a little stronger than the later levels. It seems like they probably spent more time on the early stuff, as you would expect. And then the later stuff feels not as inventive. But I still think if people are looking for this game, that it's going to be good for them.
Right. If you thought you were interested in this game, then you'll probably like it.
Right. It's not a recommend for everyone. That's for sure.
Okay.
And I saw that there's a question here from @FinalContra asking if the camera was really as bad as reviewers are saying. It says he just played Banjo-Kazooie and he was able to work around that cam. I would say it's similar. Again, it's a 90s style camera.
So you're doing it manually.
Be a patch. They already said they're going to have a day one patch to fix the camera.
They did a patch on it the other day, and it's gotten a little bit better. I think some of the issues with the camera early were it was almost like a frame rate issue where it was spinning too quickly around. It was like spinning at a different rate than what you were moving the controller normally.
Got it.
And it wasn't bad then. It was just like a little bit off. It was like, this is not a modern camera. But I haven't had any like technical problems really with it though. So,
all right. Yeah, no,
I think that's an achievement there.
I saw Jim Sterling's, tweet that it was a bad game, and I was like, oh, I thought
your good
really
friend Jim Sterling.
What do you mean?
Your buddy, your pal. You guys like chatted up on the Twitter.
I mean, well, I just started following him recently, and then like he followed me back. I actually I sent him a copy. I sent him a copy of Dr. John Sarno's Mind Over Back Pain book because he says that he has back pain. And I felt like just knowing like the business that he's in, it seems highly likely that his back.
I enjoy his work. I'll be the first person to say it. I think what he does is very good.
He gave this game a 2 out of 10.
No, he did not like it.
he is the one negative review on Metacritic.
Yeah, that happens a lot with him. He uses the whole review scale. No
I have no problems with that. Currently, the Xbox version which is the version I've been playing. It's at a 73 on Metacritic. I think that's acceptable. That seems right.
No, I never. When I watch his videos, and I never get the impression that he says stuff just for like the shock value. I think he believes what he says, and he makes good points, and I don't agree with everything that he says 100%, but if I watch one of his videos, I usually agree with like a majority of it, and it's entertaining. So what's not to like about Jim Sterling?
Exactly.
But
there you go.
Yeah.
We all give Jim Sterling a 2 out of 10. I mean, a 10 out of 10.
But I don't think he
what do I
read.
do now? Since he gave this a 2 out of 10,
Uh-huh.
do I do kind of some kind of attack on him online?
Yes, you have to.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to. Yeah, I think that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Okay.
You organize your followers to go after him. That's
Okay.
what you're supposed to do. That's right out of the Hip Hop Gamer playbook. I was, I don't think he read the book I sent him, but I'm sure he's busy. I haven't heard any updates from that. But knowing his personality and that, people are constantly like writing like horrible comments about him, and he reads them. Like he's not one of these guys who puts up videos and then just ignores the comments because they're toxic. He reads them and then he actually highlights the really horrible ones and will like pin them, up top. But I don't know. I feel like that's still going to stress you out a lot. And, when you're making your money in sort of like it's you're making money off YouTube. It can fluctuate a lot. You never know what could happen. It seems like there's a lot of stress.
Is that the word you want to use?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably not in my vocabulary, but it sounds like it could mean what I want to say. I feel like that could give you back pain. No question. Anyway, do you want to talk more about back pain? All right, let's talk about Nintendo.
Sure.
Ska Dave writes in and he says, it seems that I owe Shipwreck an apology. I thought that his take on the construction of the Switch Joy-Cons was too harsh. Well, my left Joy-Con now removes from the Switch without having to push the button. It just slides right off. You were right. I will never doubt your engineering mind again.
I'm sorry to hear that, Scott Dave. I didn't want this to be an issue.
Yeah, you should usually just believe whatever Ship says. I mean, if it's forget about if it's engineering or not. He's usually right about things and just in general. But if it's engineering related, then you got to bet on Ship for sure.
It just seems like I would like to know like how many mechanical designers looked at the Switch at Nintendo. Like they know how to do the electronics side of it, which I am not an electrical engineer. So
I'm sure there was one guy like Paul Newman in the Towering Inferno. It's a trap. They're all gonna die.
And they ignored him?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, they just haven't had to. They haven't had to do a lot of mechanical design on their stuff in the past. I mean, you look at everything that they've done, and it's pretty like basic. Put this inside of a box, a plastic housing, and you're pretty much good to go.
And they're not pushing the technology in terms of sort of processing power, so you don't really have to do probably a lot of complicated design to eliminate heat and air and get the proper airflow, because usually their stuff is underpowered.
Yeah, I think you could probably eyeball it and get in the right vicinity most of the time with them. Just stick a fan in it and you're probably good.
But this has got literally a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff that it's just not a great idea electronics wise either. Like the dock itself, like when have you ever wanted to put something like close something inside it and turn it on? Like that's not how things work. Like you don't like to run a laptop when it's like closed inside of a bag.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Why does the dock?
Bad?
You're saying why is the dock so big? Like why does it need the sides?
Why
covering
is it encasing the majority of the tablet?
Why isn't it more like my laptop dock at work that I just kind of click it in right on top? And,
right, which allows for airflow. You got plenty of surface area there to where stuff the heat can dissipate. I'm bringing this up because there's a lot of like switch bending problems is what's coming out now, is that the entire tablet itself is starting to bend for some people. We don't know how universal this is yet, but looking at it and thinking about it, I think it's going to be fairly universal on this again. Just because the way that the dock is sitting, it's not necessarily that this thing gets so hot that the electronics inside have an issue. It's that you have a temperature delta where the edges of the tablet are cool because they are outside of the dock. There's a little bit on the top of the switch and then on the sides where it would just be like room temperature. Whereas in the center of the switch, that thing is going to be heating up and it doesn't have anywhere for that heat to really go because it's inside of that enclosure that you've stuck it in. So you're going to get
crawdads in the state are at the temperature delta.
So you're going to get hot in the middle and cool on the outside, and that's going to cause the circuit boards and the plastic particularly to want to bend and deform. And just by definition, plastic's not going to go back to its original shape. It's plastic. It's going to deform.
So what you're saying is they should have taken a lesson from the McDLT. Keep the hot side hot and the cool side. No, not keep the hot side hot and the cool side cool.
You want to keep everything at the same temperature as much as possible.
No Jason Alexander for you, GP.
So it seems like it's a design that makes great sense. Like this would be something that consumers would come up with. It's like, yeah, I want to slip it inside this thing. But then when you stop to think about the mechanics and why nobody does this, it's because there's this thing called thermodynamics, and there's.
Do you think
reason
they made the big dock like that because they are promoting this as a home console, and when it's inside the dock and it's basically hidden, it looks like more like a home console.
Yeah.
Than as if you just had
this is going back because their home console is dead in the water. The Wii U was dead. They needed a home console.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and that's the only way for it to play on the TV right now is stick it in this thing that some people have reported scratches it and other people are saying is warping their Switch.
Perfect. Sounds like a
Switch 2.0 could be good though.
See, if you're asking what you're better waiting on, I would rather wait on a Switch than have waited on Mass Effect.
I guess that does make sense.
So, I stand by my decision.
So you made the right choice. You still playing Blaster Master Zero?
I am. That's a really well done game.
Good.
I still am amazed that was only $10. I think they could have squeezed some more money out of people.
But through.
Maybe not. I don't know. People might have not been as into Blaster Master as I was as a kid.
Right. That was a long time ago. I mean, yeah, I remember when that came.
The game holds up. They've definitely updated it some, but the core mechanics of that game, which is a Metroid type of game, it's still really good.
All right, let's move on to Sony.
Have you finished Ukulele and Blaster Master, or are those still the games you're playing?
I am almost done with Ukulele, and I had got another 2 worlds, I think, in Blaster Master.
Just curious to know when you're going to move on to, I don't know, Horizon, I guess.
I'll get back to it.
Oh, so good.
I wanted to play some Persona just to.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you got that too. So yeah, you're never going to play Mass Effect.
I'm not until they tell me it's safe to play it and they're done with it.
Right.
I see no reason to start that game.
I'm curious to know how big the patch is going to be for that's out.
Oh yeah, that should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to mention this because I think Ship might be interested. Scuff just announced 2 new PlayStation 4 controllers, which are basically the elite versions of PlayStation controllers. So Sony's not making it, but Scuff is. They're wireless, so that was sort of what we were waiting for them to do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
$130 for one of them, and there's one that's $140. I'm not exactly sure what the differences are, but these are high-end wireless Bluetooth controllers. You can use them on PC as well. It's got all the paddle stuff, just like the Elite controller has, and textured grips. So that's cool.
I might be interested in one of these. I'm looking at some of the pictures now. I need to see if they have one that looks a little bit less like Extreme Cheetos.
Right. Less neon, perhaps. Well, they have a white one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just like a little bit cleaner look. I don't need it to be shouting that it's
Right.
so extreme.
Yeah.
One
The
that
Xbox
doesn't look like it was designed by the Boz.
Right. You don't need to be wearing skids to use the controller. Yeah. Like the Xbox Elite controller is very refined looking. It doesn't look that different than the other controllers. But I'm interested. I want to read some reviews of this thing first before I lay out the money. But I do love that Elite controller. It is annoying to go to the PlayStation controller.
I've never even used one.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't even know. I don't even know the difference. I have such a sad, lonely life.
No. Sony also announced that they're going to start trying to sell PlayStation VR to commercial enterprises such as theme parks and I guess museums. And I can't actually read the article in the Wall Street Journal because I don't have a subscription. So I read the first paragraph. But it sounds like, the headline is Sony goes commercial after virtual reality check on PlayStation 4. And they say that it didn't really set the world on fire to retail customers. So they're going to try commercial customers.
Good for them.
Makes sense. I had said that before. But I think VR is interesting, just not something that a lot of people need or want in their homes.
Yeah, I do not argue with that at all. Humble Bundle.
Yeah, I bought it. Did you guys buy it?
What is it?
I did.
It's a THQ Humble Bundle for
THQ
PlayStation
Nordic.
4. Huh?
THQ Nordic.
What did I say?
Get the branding.
Oh, sorry. I just said THQ.
Yeah.
THQ Nordic Humble Bundle. And if you spend $15, you get 15 games. And they're all PlayStation 4 games. The Book of Unwritten Tales 2, Red Faction, Super Dungeon Brothers, Arcania, Deponia, Battle Worlds, both Destroy All Humans 1 and 2, The Legend of K Anniversary Edition, Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2, and the remastered versions of Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2.
Great.
And 2 MX versus ATV games. So it's a lot of games for $15. It goes to charity. So why not? And they don't have many PlayStation bundles on Humble Bundle. So I usually can't partake in them.
All right. Enjoy that.
Yeah, why not? I will.
Let's move on to
Which one are you going to play first?
Huh?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
one are you going to play first?
I don't know, but I downloaded everything. That to me was worth the $15. The fact that I could install them all on my PlayStation and still have room on my hard drive. I'm like, look.
Did you install both the unmastered versions of Darksiders and the
I don't know if
remastered?
no, I didn't do the unmastered versions of the Darksiders. It's just the remasters. I actually can't say that, but
All right.
I might check out Destroy All Humans. I've never played that game.
No, it's fun.
Yeah,
I played it a lot.
Red Faction was I always really liked it. I'm sure it looks like garbage now, but
Yeah, I'm pretty
whatever.
sure it will.
I paid $1 for it.
All right, let's move on to Microsoft. Now, we had a lot of questions from our listeners, and there's a theme, a central theme surrounding a lot of these questions. And basically, it's all about the Xbox brand dying. At LV Will 24 writes in and says, how will the Scorpio possibly be successful with the Xbox brand slowly killing itself with a lack of exclusives? Crackdown isn't a game changer. At Born Again 888 writes in and says, it seems like Xbox is falling further behind Sony. I'm wondering if I'll still want a Scorpio at year's end. And then at JCam2 writes in and says, Scorpio reveal, does 4K matter right now, or Xbox's lack of exclusives feel like they need to bring us something to be interested at all? Well, they're definitely not selling as many Xboxes as they are PlayStations, but I'm pretty sure it's still a successful business. And the brand seems like it's doing fine. There was just some report put out by Google where they asked teens to talk about which brands they think are cool. And the teens rated Xbox fourth, the fourth coolest brand in the world. PlayStation was seventh. And I think YouTube and Netflix and Google were in the sort of the top brands. But
There's I think what Xbox has going for it outside of exclusives is they still have EA Access, which is, even if they didn't send Shipwreck a hard drive, a pretty damn good deal if you're, not buying games often, especially if you're new to the console. That new Xbox service, which again, if you're new to the console, is a really good thing. The games that are on there right now, I think I own all of them already. It's a lot of them were Xbox games with gold games in the past. So it actually is it's a disappointing library right now, but it's also still in beta. Yeah,
and it's not for you. That's not.
But still,
not for somebody who's buying all the games when they come out.
It's a really good buy. It's a really good thing to have if you're new to the console or someone who just isn't going to buy games that often. And also games with gold, where you get your two free games a month or whatever it is, 4 games now with the backwards compatibility games. Plus, it is backwards compatible. So I think what Xbox has going for it is a lot of features that, honestly, if they had that at launch, these questions would not be coming up.
And if it costs $400,
well, I think some of it, and I think you have to remember, like last year at some point, that we were asking the same thing kind of in the opposite direction, because Xbox was starting to catch up because they had a bunch of exclusives and Sony did not have anything then for like 6 months. Sony was struggling for exclusive games,
and Microsoft had like some crazy deals on the console. They were throwing in games, they did gift cards. I mean, you were getting these things for cheap, super cheap. And I think
I don't know how much exclusives matter for at the end of the day for this stuff. As long as you have some exclusives,
right,
and your big ones are big, I think it doesn't really matter that much to most people, because most people aren't buying all these, at least in North America I'm talking about, not worldwide. That's a different conversation. Like Sony is going to handle Xbox worldwide. That's just how it works. But in North America, a lot of these exclusives that Sony has, these third-party ones, are all these like niche Japanese games that like they're big for the video game community, but they're not like
they're not Halo.
Neo isn't selling like PlayStation 4s to many people.
No, I agree.
It's all the people who are going to be buying the Neos and the Niers and everything, which are great games. It's just it skews to make it look like PlayStation, which they do. They have more exclusives than Xbox right now, but it's not the big ones per se.
They don't have like Halos.
Right, they do, but it's
all of them are not
equal
Halos.
measure. They're an equal measure. Like they have the Uncharted's, and those are back and forth. It's just that Xbox doesn't have these third-party exclusives that PlayStation 4 currently has, which are mainly the Eastern games, which makes sense because Xbox doesn't sell in Japan. So it's...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Xbox is dead anytime soon.
No. And the reason why they are behind is still because of the $500 launch price. I honestly think that's the biggest reason.
Oh, they killed themselves at launch. I mean, there's no getting around it.
Thanks, Dan.
The damage they did to themselves at launch was pretty staggering.
Yeah.
It was a staggering misstep that they'll probably teach kids about in college courses and business schools, and
it was a double misstep, right? It was the Kinect and the always online.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
portion.
Yeah, it was like this weird combination of, and it sometimes marketing screws up, and sometimes your product team screws up. These are things that happen in businesses. It is very rare when both the marketing team and the product team screw up. And that's what happened at the Xbox launch. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that they had that always online messaging, which was very poorly sent out and received, and were including a wholly unnecessary piece of expensive hardware in every box.
That's going to drive the price up. Don't you think? I was thinking actually this week when I went to stream some PlayStation stuff, instead of putting in the Kinect with that Xbox, what if they just put in a regular camera, like basically the equivalent of like the PlayStation camera, and include that with a microphone built in? It's not going to have motion, all those that Kinect motion stuff.
Like a $20 camera?
Like a $20
with a mic?
Exactly. So like out of the box, you could stream. Well, I guess it didn't probably launch with the Twitch stuff. But
They didn't even need to do that much. What they needed to do is make it an Echo.
Sure, they could have done a lot of things, but
in hindsight, it should have been an Echo. It should have been just something that works on voice commands, that's inexpensive, no camera that you could shout. Because the voice controls on the Xbox, I still use.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work great anymore. I think with every update, I've found with every update, the voice commands work worse and worse every time. But when they work, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool when your kids can yell at the TV to put on Cartoon Network, and it puts on Cartoon Network. I know, Cheapy loves his smart house. It kind of makes your TV seem like a Jetsons TV when you can yell at it to turn on and to turn off, to go to certain channels and to go to certain apps. And if that's what they sold at launch, at a price,
that's what they were they were trying to sell that at launch.
But they
didn't need the motion control stuff.
But they
and that's
put
what
it in a
led
piece
the
of
price up.
hardware that was unnecessary. If it wasn't,
this
at
is really
that
easy to say that in
expense.
hindsight when they were coming off.
Totally.
When
Don't
they were
get me
coming off the
wrong.
Kinect being a success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
In hindsight, it's very easy to play couch quarterback on this situation.
Right. To look at that Kinect and go, that's a problem right there.
Well, it was
we
the-
should not do that Kinect.
It was the price that was the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they had a similar piece of hardware, like Cheapy said, that didn't increase the price, that they could sell it at that same price as the PlayStation 4, but have this added functionality that didn't detract from, it was this, they were killed. They were killed with the messaging. They were killed with the, it's not going to have as good as graphics as the PlayStation 4 because of that Kinect.
Yeah.
It's
amazing that it's this close, to be honest, that the sales numbers are this close. They could have really shot themselves in the foot.
Worse.
A lot of this stuff I think is cyclic. I mean, you're going to have these companies get on top, and then the other ones are going to react, and
Someone's going to fuck up.
Right. That's the beauty of having like multiple companies competing for this.
PlayStation
and
fucked up.
this isn't unique to just the video game industry. Just ask the people at Pepsi.
Right. Mistakes were made.
Exactly.
It does happen everywhere. I picked up a new game on PC that's in early access that I just picked up today and played a few matches. It's really cool. It's called Battlegrounds. It's like the top selling game on Steam. It's a very small team making this game. It's like the Hunger Games, but set in modern times. So you start off, it's like 100 people are playing in a match. Okay. You all start off on a big airplane that's flying over an island. And you choose when your guy jumps off the plane with his parachute. And it's a huge island. And all 100 people land on the island. It's up to you where you land, when you get off the plane and how you steer your parachute. And once you land, you land with nothing. And you got to get equipment, you got to get weapons and supplies, you get all this stuff. And the last guy alive wins. So it's pretty interesting. And I did very poorly at it. It's very hard, and it's still in early access, and it's not the smoothest experience right now. But I think this game's going to be, it already is a big success. It's the number one game on Steam right now. I wonder which console is going to try to tie this up as an exclusive, because I think this game's probably got some legs. It's pretty thrilling, I guess is the word I'm using. A lot of suspense, as you're sneaking around and wondering if you have enough
you play
weapons.
it and there's 100 people and you die and you're like the first person to die,
Yeah.
do you have to sit and wait for all other 98 people to die before you can play another game?
You get your little...
Because that would be super boring.
No. You get your in-game currency that you win depending on how well you did in the match, and then you can use that to buy like, I think just cosmetic stuff for your character, because you start with nothing when each time you play the game. No, and you can jump right into another game right away.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool then.
It's cool. It's very cool. I think it's going to be a pretty popular streaming game. It seems like it'd be pretty fun to watch. It's called Battlegrounds, and it was, I think $30. Oh, pretty neat. I guess this technically isn't like an Apple thing, but I forgot to mention it earlier, and I really wanted to mention it. I've been listening to the S-Town podcast, and I'm about halfway through it now, and I just I think it's amazing.
Is that about the live song Shittown?
It actually does stand for Shittown.
Okay.
I don't think it's about a song. It's basically this guy from Alabama emails the one of the guys who worked on This American Life. I guess the guy who produced it. I don't know, the guy who hosted it. I never listened to those other shows, but he basically says, I think there's rumors that there's been a murder that's been covered up in this town, in this shit town, this worst town in America. And we got corrupt cops, and I want you to come down and investigate. And it's about what happens when the reporter comes down and investigates. It's really amazing, and it's made me think differently about people with Southern accents. I've been, Mrs. Cheapy told me not to do this, but I would judge people about, when I hear their accent. If I hear a heavy Southern accent, I automatically think like, oh, that person is dumb or uneducated. But
that's not good.
It's not good. Of course not.
That's not true at all.
I know, but living in New York, you don't really, you basically are exposed to a lot of stereotypes because you see these characters on TV. That's how you get exposed to them. And usually they are kind of, redneck, not educated people and do dumb things. Anyway, going through the first few episodes of the show, I've now eliminated.
We just lost all our listeners in the South.
No, I said I'm reformed now.
Okay.
I've learned a lesson. So I know that I was mistaken. Anyway, so S-Town, you got to listen to this thing. It's amazing. It is depressing, though. I cried today listening to it. So just imagine me walking around my town, listening to a podcast and getting all choked up. That is something that happened today. Well, anyway, I think we're done with the show, guys. I used up all our CAGCast questions throughout the show.
No, I think that's a better way to do it.
Sure.
I like your new format.
Well, it's not new. It's just I used them all up.
Well, it's been new recently. You've been doing it a lot more lately. I've been noticing.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
Uh-huh. That's how I roll.
I will give a programming note and say that there will be no show next week. I'm going to go to Florida, visit the parents.
That's why you're saying that you like the South now.
No, but you don't hear. That's not Florida. That's not what you hear in Florida.
Please, the word cracker comes from Florida. But
you don't hear those accents when you go to Fort Lauderdale or places like that. You don't. I'm talking about those deep South accents. Anyway, so no show next week. Follow us on Twitter at GPD, at New Wombat, at Shipwreck, at Video Game Deals. Of course, go to HelloFresh.com and use coupon code CAGCast30 to save $30 off your first week of deliveries when you subscribe. And that's it.
Brett's done.
You don't understand. It's after us. It's big. It's got huge teeth, a big beak, bulgy eyes, feathers, fur everywhere.
Yeah, and pigs can fly.
No, bears can fly. Bad guys beware. Here comes Banjo-Kazooie, where you're both bird and bear with amazing powers. There's never been anything like this head-banging, sky-flying, rock-hopping, egg-shooting, tag-teaming duo. Banjo-Kazooie, only for Nintendo.